And a very good morning to you. Hi, everybody. It's Drivetime Radio. It is just a little after 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, so we'll get to spend some time together this morning, which I'm always a big fan of. I like spending time with you on Saturday morning. It's a little bit of a crazy Saturday morning in a number of ways. Number one, and I think might be the craziest, is that I-5 is... from what I understand, and I'm going to check this out with the latest just to make sure, but I-5 was scheduled to be closed today in downtown Seattle. So if you are thinking about going from anywhere from north to south, it's not a good idea. Although I am looking at the maps right now, and I do not see a red area. So that is that's not making me exactly stable in that information that it is in fact closed. But anyway, I-5 was scheduled to be closed all weekend. And I don't know, because of the weather, because they don't see it. There's a lot of talk that it may be some rain in the forecast somewhere along, and I don't think they can do this work with the rain. They are, and I'm going to jump on, there's always another way to always tell what's happening on I-5, and that is just head on down to... Now, according to the weather map Waze, it appears that from, I would say, well, you know what? It says from my house down to downtown, there's a traffic condition from North Gateway down to Portage Bay. So that would tell me that heavier traffic than usual. It is supposed to be closed. I guess the whole gig here would be avoid downtown Seattle if you can help it. Take public transportation. If you're going to the game later, if you got stuff to do in downtown Seattle, do yourself a favor and avoid I-5 going through downtown Seattle as much as is possible. Because in the best of conditions, it's insane. On a Saturday morning around 11 o'clock, it gets jammed up. People are going hither and yon is never really much better than hither. It's just a mess. Now, again, I'm going to try to find out for you here, as best I can, what the exact situation is as far as what the whole situation may be downtown. I'm looking right now at a picture of what it looks like, and it doesn't look. It just looks like a mess. Parts of northbound I-5 are closed this weekend. Here's what to expect. And we're going to try to get you, let's see, get you kind of hipped up as to what's happening. You know, and this is a restoration project that has happened on a Ship Canal Bridge. They say the congestion is beginning just north of the Swift Avenue Albro exit about a half hour ago. 4 miles of the entire northbound freeway will be closed until 5 a.m. Monday as concrete safety barriers and lane changes are going to be installed. The closure is between I-90 and Northeast 45th Street. Express lanes will be open and they will be pointing northbound. So you can check out what the situation is exactly as you get on your merry way to wherever you are going. Officials have recommended checking traffic maps. Have you ever tried to check the WSDOT traffic maps? It can be a zoo. Transit alerts you can sign up for, but they are saying that transit is your best bet for getting around construction and keeping your stress levels low. So I'm looking at a map of the closures right now. Northbound I-5 will be closed for road work all weekend from 11:59 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. Monday between I-90 and Northeast 45th Street. So simply, just don't go. You don't want to go there if you can help it. So you can take 405 around if you want to go from the north down or the south up, jump on 405, head up, and take that way up. And that'll put you back on the I-5 freeway somewhere by Alderwood Mall. The express lanes, again, will be open and running northbound during the weekend lane closure. So you have the express lanes to go through. And that looks like a pretty solid thing. But there's ball games, there's things going on. You have the Capitol Hill Block Party, the Seattle Art Fair, the Mariner game tonight. I think that's a 7:10 start tonight, if I'm not mistaken. It might be early. It might be a 6 o'clock, 6:05. But 405 and Highway 99 are alternate routes. You can, go over 520, try to take that. Rainier Avenue. But they haven't, it seems like and I think this is something that we're going to see in traffic. It doesn't seem like they're designing a specific way to get through. Like they're not like, let's say, through 23rd Avenue. And I'm just using that as an example. I don't know if that's the exact way you would go. But they're not saying, okay, we're going to put extra police patrols. We're going to put extra this, extra that on 23rd, Martin Luther King Way. Some of these streets that people would likely jump off of I-5 and jump on. Because I think really they want to discourage you now that they have the transit in place. They want to discourage you in any way, shape, manner, or form from using any kind of local streets. They want you to use public transportation. They want you to park your car somewhere, get on light rail, and take that into downtown. And I have to say, for somebody who is near light rail and sees the effect of how much quicker and easier it can be, they don't have a bad idea. I mean, several times you can see where light rail, there's a garage there. You can park your car. You can walk onto light rail. You don't even have to hit the streets at some stops. Just go right onto light rail. You sit down. It delivers you onto Capitol Hill. It delivers you over by Seattle Central Community College. It delivers you into the parts of Seattle that you need to go to. They happen in parts of Seattle on a weekend. They spent billions of dollars putting it out there. And for my money, it's a pretty good system. It's clean. It runs on time. It feels safe. My kid takes it all the time. She has no problem with it whatsoever. She loves it. She takes it to the airport. When she left town, time to time, she gets on that thing near her house, and she's at the airport in 20 minutes faster than I can get her there if I drive her sometimes. So it's not like 40 years ago. It's not like when I first got to Seattle, and there was no alternative transportation. It was either drive there or take the bus. Seattle has done a remarkable job, and I'll send this all the way back to the Greg Nichols era and what an advocate he was when they were building the ballparks for building accessible public transportation to get people around this city. He is one person that saw how far behind Seattle had come, had run through other cities that had similar types of setups. And he and the original people for Sound Transit, through a lot of painstaking trial and error and this and that, and against a storm of people who were screaming, it's a waste of money. People will never use it. Go stand in the Mount Lake Terrace parking garage and see how empty it is when there's a concert downtown or when there's a big event downtown. See how many people aren't using it. You can't get a space in it. So it's the one thing that Seattle, although I'll never say that they did it right, because it still should have been done 20 years earlier than it was done. And hopefully they'll learn their lessons from what they're doing this week, and then they'll be able to figure out a plan that'll work good for everybody, because this is going to be a 2-year thing. This is badly needed work on the Ship Canal Bridge that is only going to get worse by continuing its deterioration, that is rapid deterioration that is happening to this bridge and to other roadways around here. You can look at what is happening to these bridges and see pieces of bridges, sections of bridges that are built without the right rebar, without this, without that. The thing needs a rebuild. So they got to get it done. And of course, we suffer from only being able to do road work here in Seattle a certain time of year. You can't expect to send people out there in the snow or in the pouring rain for weeks on end, working on putting joists in and putting different expansion joints in, and all types of different concretes and materials that have to cure. They don't cure well in the rain. So they know how to do it. Have some patience. Again, if you can take public transportation, take it. If you can go home, stay home, or go somewhere. If you live up north, go north. If you live south, stay south. There's plenty of beautiful things to do in many different parts of the Seattle-Tacoma metropolitan area. If you're down south, go south. Discover Tacoma. There's plenty of cool stuff to do down there. But if you can at all possibly stay off of the roads for the next 2 years. I mean, that ain't going to happen. But if you can stay off of the roads during this time, it'll be to your benefit. It'll be something that you need, that'll just stress you out less. So that is what I think is going to be a wise thing to do. All right. If we hear anything about any further updates, we will do our best to let you know what's going on. What's going on, Vinnie? All right, what's going on in our world? Well, we got a bunch of different things going on, and a lot of exciting stuff actually. That well, I'm going to want to tell you about. I think the big news, automotive-wise, this week was that was there's a few big things. The automotive business is in a mess right now. Whether you are in the market for a new car or used car, a second car, a third car, whatever you think is or you're just in the market to drive a car. You got a lot of choices, and a lot of them aren't good at the moment. Because the federal government, once again, has, like the winds of war, have changed the winds of direction. There's a little something called a cafe in the automotive business. It's not a place where you go and sit and have coffee with your friend, the auto salesman, and he tells you about all the wonderful new vehicles that he's driving. It is a little something that was instituted back in the 70s called the Corporate Aggregate Fuel Economy Number. That means that all vehicles that are manufactured by a particular manufacturer have to come under a number. All of the fuel economies of all the vehicles have to be under a certain number. The higher they are, the less gas mileage that cars get, the worse it can be. Things have varied, and fines and penalties and embarrassments. That's why you see electric cars. That's why you see the catalytic converters. That's why you see the different types of fuel-saving devices. That's why you see smaller engines. Well, in one wisp of a pen this week, the federal government did away with CAFE. They virtually gave automakers a license to go ahead and do what you want. First, pollution doesn't count, doesn't care. We don't care about it anymore. Now we don't care how much gas we use. We are looking, certain people in this country are looking to go through all the oil on this planet, it seems, before our lifetimes are over. They talk about, now it's basically this drill baby drill thing. And that the internal combustion engine is the only way that many of these different politicians and some of these people want to go with their vehicles. And they don't care if there's more left for a future generation. They don't care. They just say, you know what, we're going to use it up, and it'll be up to the next generation. You figure out how you're going to get around it. We're going to leave you with a bunch of these cars that get 2 miles per gallon. And that's it. That's all. And you have a president right now that thinks that's a good idea. And he's going to wipe every law off the books that has to do with conservation, that has to do with keeping our preserving our natural resources. He's just going to go through it all. He's going to slice it and dice it, and he's going to make his buddies in the oil companies rich. And he's going to make everybody that he can, it's his friend that contributed to his campaign, rich. And if you are if you're somebody who cares about the environment, if you're somebody who cares when they drill off the coast of California or in the Gulf of Mexico or wherever it may be, you're not going to care. Screw you. And, obviously this is more profitable for the car companies because they're relying on technology that they've already developed. It's expensive to develop electric cars. It's expensive to develop systems that will empower those electric cars to go. It's a whole new deal. And it's trial and error, and they have to learn how to do it. And sometimes they make mistakes, and those mistakes cost money. But we've developed over the past 10 or 15 years this incredible electric car system that looks more and more like it's going to go out the window. Now, I should take that back. It's going to survive because the rest of the world is going that way. The rest of the world still believes we have to limit our resources and use them wisely. The rest of the world believes that there's a future for electric cars. The rest of the world believes that our children need clean air to breathe and clean water, and that a part of that is to go ahead and provide that for our kids. That we shouldn't just go all out and say, because I want to drive to the deli or I want to drive to McDonald's to sit my car in the line and wait for my quarter pounder with cheese with the engine running, that who cares? That the biggest thing in this country, that this country, it basically boils down to whether we have cheap gas or not. That's how smart we are. That this country, America, is all about cheap gas and nothing else. But it's just crazy. And to buy into this and to watch the way the American people have bought into this fairy tale is fascinating. But they are. And they elected a president who is, and now it's coming home to roost. Looks like he's going to do what he can do to destroy whatever advancements were made, not just in this country, but around the world, as far as the electrification of vehicles. So, but I don't want to spend all my time on that this morning because I got some larger fish to fry this week. By the way, you are listening to Drive Time Radio. I'm New York Vinnie. We meet every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock here on all of your social media channels and on podcast. And we do that so that we can talk about cars. And I can spend some time with you talking about the things that matter in life, which is love, happiness, the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of love, and having a good car to drive. I road test cars every week, let you know my opinion on them. I offer advice to people on what they should be driving. I give advice to people whether a car is, in my opinion, a good car or a bad car. I keep my eye on the automotive business and all the trends and everything that happens in the automotive business so that if you're going to go out and buy a new car, you can make an informed opinion about what to buy, where to put your money, where it'll do the most good, and where you'll have a decent car, whether it's a used car or a new car. You can always get me at Vinnie at drivetime-radio.com. And I'll try to help you with any decision you got to make when it comes to cars. I had an interesting week in that I had an accident. Well, I'm struggling with calling it an accident. I don't know if you saw pictures of it, but my car of the week this week was, my drive time road test car. My Yo Vinnie, what are you driving this week? Was the one of my favorites, the Jeep pickup truck. The Renegade Rubicon, really great little pickup truck. This was a vehicle that I was extremely enthusiastic about driving. And in the 3 or so days that I sat behind the wheel and drove this thing, I got to tell you that it was a pleasure to drive this thing, to learn about it, to to get to have some fun with it. I think we have a clip of the vehicle. I took it Sunday last off-roading, and we went up in Snohomish County, got off the road, and you should see me popping up here in a second. There we go. In this great vehicle. I mean, this really was a lot of fun. They have set up a off-road vehicle park up in Snohomish County, and let me just give you another little shot here of just some of the beautiful area and why I love these things so much, because you can get off the beaten path, you can get off the road, you can get to a place that's away from everybody else, and see a little something different. You're just not on the beaten path all the time. You're on something different. And it really is something that, for me, I can't hike and get to places that I'd like to get at times. Many times I have to go hiking, and I have to do it, not hiking, but I have to, um, I have to do it by way of motor vehicle, whether it be an ATV or that, because that's how I got to do it. And so to get into it, to get a week where I get a vehicle like this and get into it and get it off road and really get a feel of what it's about and what this community is about, to go dispersed camping on the federal lands and to get off the path and go to the top of a mountain, is I can't explain the sense of freedom that this gives you. You get to get off of the beaten path. You get to take a look at some of the different stuff. You get to meet people in a community that is different, whether they be on motorcycle, whether they be on ATV, however they go. It's a different breed of people. Spend a lot of money on their cars. I mean, these are not cheap vehicles. And there are some people who say, well, they're mucking up the environment and they're doing this and they're doing that. No, the people that are drilling for oil in Alaska, those are the people you got to watch. But you get to look at such a great area. And you get to see, again, just a really just a different part without causing major damage. The trails have been laid out by the county, by Snow. Actually, I think this is in Skagit County. And I love it. I adore it. Whenever I get a chance to get one of these vehicles and go up and go up through the woods, go on trails that are off the beaten path, I consider it a privilege. And so last Sunday, beautiful day out. Figured it's a perfect time to head out there. Perfect time to get, beautiful day. You go and you have a little fun. And that's exactly what I did. And so we, for a very short time, I'm showing you some of the pictures because I don't, not everybody gets a chance to do something like this. And I admit that I'm so lucky. Not only did I get to test different cars, but I get to test cars in their native situations, in their situations that they're supposed to be in. And this is up on this trail in Skagit County. And you go and you respect the trail. You have people up there that are hanging out. If something breaks on your car, they come over and they try to help you. They try to, do what they can to help each other out because there's not a gas station on every corner. And there's not a place where you can, just go someplace and, there you are. But I had a great time doing this. I was really thankful. And so I was getting ready to leave. We were getting ready to leave. I was with a friend of mine, and we're getting ready to leave the area. And I was going to make a U-turn, so I could get down this road and get out of here and get out of there, get back to civilization. And as I was backing up, to, making a 3-point U-turn, backing up, all of a sudden, I lose control of the vehicle. It's like an earthquake. It's like I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, things are flipping around. I've lost control of the vehicle, and I'm sliding backwards and rolling backwards down the side of a mountain. And I mean, these aren't small mountains up there. These aren't hills. These are huge mountains. And all of a sudden, as we're going back, vehicles going one way, vehicles going the other way, vehicles going one way, vehicles going the other way. It comes to rest. And I can't figure out what it's resting on. We're resting literally on the side of a mountain on what I feel is like a loose, either a cliff or a tree branch or something is holding this, 5,000-pound vehicle up. And I'm going, we're going to die. In my heart, I'm going, this thing's going to roll down the side of the mountain. Nobody is going to see us. Nobody is going to see that we've, rolled down this hillside. Just not going to see us. And we're in trouble. And so finally, we come to rest, and I can feel the vehicle rocking. And I'm like, oh my God, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. And that's where what I've always thought was one of my favorite things in a vehicle that they've had in vehicles since, for the last 10 years, 15 years. And it's a little button that says SOS. So I realized that friend's okay, I'm okay. I get my phone and I'm like, okay, let's figure out what we got to do. I know that we've slid 20 feet back off the road, so you can't see me from the road. The best shot you got is that there's cell service in this ravine, and I'm going to connect with somebody, and they're going to send somebody with a truck, a tow truck, and they're going to drag me out of this thing. So I get the 911 dispatcher, and I'm having trouble getting this guy to understand the situation. I'm off the side of the road. I slid back down a mountain. It's the Skagit County Sheriff's Department. Now, this is the first dispatcher I had. And I'm trying to make him realize that I think I'm hanging on a cliff. I can't see. I'm looking straight up at the sky. I'm not looking at any ground. I can't open my door, number one, for fear that I'll move this vehicle, one way or the other, and it'll roll on top of me, or that I'll do something that'll cause further harm. And so I said to him, okay, I don't know the name of the street that I'm on, because I didn't. I don't know where I am. I'll give you the best possible description I am. I'm by the ORV park. I forget the name of the ORV park right now. But I slid back. I was making a 3-point U-turn, and my vehicle slid back off the road. I don't know if the road collapsed or what. I don't know if there was an earthquake. I don't know what happened. What I do know is that I'm down this ravine, and that I'm in fear for my life. I'm worried that this vehicle is gonna just come back down on me and either kill me or, cause damage, start a fire. Because I don't, again, I'm on dry land. And I don't know if there's a dried out brush under me. I don't know how close I am to the ground. I don't know if there's any ground under me whatsoever. I could be two wheels hanging off the side of a mountain. So I say to the dispatcher, any idea how, can you tell me how long? I'm really afraid here. Any idea how long it might be before a tow truck or a police officer comes to, gets here? I'm in fear for my life. Can you give me at least an ETA, some idea of how long it will take for a police officer to get here and help me? And he says, I'm sorry, sir, we can't give out that information. Well, you could imagine how thrilled I was to hear that. And I'm going, you got to be kidding me. You absolutely got to be kidding me. You can't tell me that there's no way that you can't tell me how long it's going to take for you to get here. At least you can give me some kind of time. He says, no, I'm sorry. Can't do it. So I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So he says, well, we'll get somebody there as fast as we can. And I say, thank you very much. I'm trying to not panic. I'm trying to weigh in my mind, should I get out of the vehicle and at least try to get down the side of the mountain? But I'm also thinking, if I get out of the vehicle and this thing moves, it's going to come down on top of me and crush me. So at least the best thing that I can do is I have the safety of the vehicle around me. It's one of those Jeeps with a removable top, but I had left the top on. And so and then all of a sudden I look up at the roof and I see the button, which is on most every American car these days. It's called the SOS button. And I say to myself, you know what, Vinny? This is exactly what this button is made for. This is the exact reason that they put these buttons in the vehicle. Now, mind you, I have T-Mobile with the satellite deal, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but they've hooked up this deal with Leon Musk there, and his Starfleet, or whatever they call that thing, that if you go off the road, the phone is supposed to automatically dial 911 and let them know where you are. Well, let me tell you, it didn't do either. Nobody could track me down where I was. The GPS couldn't tell them where I was. Nobody. But I'm smart enough to press that SOS button. And I pressed that SOS button, and the dashboard lights up, and it shows a map of where we are. And a woman's voice comes on the phone and says, "Hello, Stellantis Roadside Assistance. May I help you?" And I'm figuring this is what this is for. This is what they have put this thing in millions of American cars. Millions of American cars, so that you get into a situation like this and boom, help is on the way. The cavalry is coming over the hill to save Vinnie. So I tell the woman, I says, well, listen, yeah, you can help me. Rolling down the side of, I'm stuck going down the side of a hill. I'm probably about 10 feet off the road. You can't see me from the road, but I'm hanging either on a branch or a fence or something, but the vehicle is extremely unstable and feels like it's going to go down the side of a mountain. I said, it's a dangerous situation. We are not injured, but we can't get out of the vehicle. And can you please send help? And she says to me, well, we'll see what we can do. We're sorry you're in that situation. And starts giving, it's like she's reading off a card. We're sorry you're in that situation. We're sorry that Stellantis strives to give our customers. He's giving me a sales pitch. I'm saying, excuse me, lady, but I'm about to go down the side of a mountain. I'm in fear for my life. Can you please contact a towing service? They're going to have to stabilize the vehicle because I know a little bit about this. I drove a damn tow truck, and I know what's going to happen before they can do anything with this vehicle. They're going to have to stabilize it, which means they're going to have to get a chain or a rope or something, somehow wrap it around the front axle and hook it up to a vehicle or a tree or something that's on solid ground so that it doesn't continue its backward slide down the mountain with two human beings in it. And she says to me, well, I don't know if I can send the tow truck out right away. Let me ask you some questions. So first of all, she says to me, what kind of vehicle is it? And I said, well, it's a Jeep Renegade pickup truck. And she, it's about, or at least 10 feet, more like 20 feet, maybe 30 feet down a ravine with me looking up toward the sky. The only thing I can see is sky. I'm afraid to move out of the vehicle. I'm afraid to open the door. Can you please, again, now for the third time I'm repeating, can you please send me a tow truck? I immediately need a tow truck. And she says to me, well, I can send a service vehicle out to you. And I says, ma'am, I'm going to save you a lot of trouble. We are going to need at least a medium-duty tow truck at this location. And we're going to need it quick because the first thing that they're going to have to do is stabilize this vehicle so that we can get out of it. Then I said to her, now please, can you send a tow truck quickly? And she said, well, let me see what we can do for you. We're sorry you're in this situation. She told me that she was sorry that we were in this situation a number of times. And I said, well, listen, I can appreciate that you're sorry that I'm in the situation. I'm sure you can appreciate that I'm sorry I'm in the situation. But I'm in the situation, and we need to do something about this pretty damn quick because I'm afraid I'm going to go over this hill and die. And I'm afraid that you're going to be the cause of it because you don't want to listen to what I'm saying. That more than a policeman, more than a fire truck, more than anything, we need a heavy-duty truck or a medium-duty truck that can attach itself or that we can get out of here. She says, okay, I think I can set that up for you. What's your vehicle identification number? Now, again, just to make this picture clear, I'm hanging what I think is off the side of a mountain. This woman doesn't care if I'm injured. This woman doesn't care how stable the vehicle is. This woman doesn't care if I paid my membership to the Stellantis Motor Club. This woman cares about what my vehicle identification number is. And I asked her, plain and simple, how in the F do you think I'm going to get to that? How do you think I'm going to get my vehicle identification number from this vehicle? And so she says, well, where are you? And I said, well, I don't have the address. I have the coordinates from what should be the same thing you're looking at, my nav system, my SOS system. And I read her off the coordinates of where I was exactly. I said, so finally I says, you know what? You're going to get me killed. Get me the police back. And she says, would you like me to call the police? I said, I called the police already. We're now sitting here about 40 minutes and no policeman has come yet. No call back from a dispatcher. Not even somebody who said to me, would you like us to stay on the phone with you? You know, like the commercial when the woman goes off the side of the road. Says, and the dispatcher says, would you like me to stay on the phone with you? She says to me, well, I need the vehicle identification number of the vehicle. I says to her, I'll tell you what I'll do. I says, I can't get to the vehicle identification number right now. I can't see it. I can't get to it. I don't know how to go through my nav system. And really, to tell you the truth, I'm really getting kind of, because the vehicle is moving back and forth, I'm kind of getting scared of even moving in the vehicle. What I'll do, and I promise you this, is if the vehicle completely rolls down the hill, which it feels like it's about to do, and it kills me, I promise I'll scribble a note to the funeral director and have the funeral director get you the vehicle identification number. I said, now, do me a favor, get on the phone with the police and get me a police dispatcher. Get me somebody who's competent and knows what they're doing. So now, the second time that I'm back in contact with this time she calls the Skagit County Sheriff's Department, and we get this woman on the phone who was a breath of fresh air. Her name was Jody. And Jody gets on the phone, and Jody knows how to handle this. Boom, 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 what's the emergency? And instead of letting me talk, this woman from Stellantis, or this, and I don't even think she works for Stellantis, she works for another company that they probably contract with, is trying to give her, she said something like, I think we have one of our clients has been in a minor accident. And I held my hand in my head, my head in my hand, and I couldn't believe it. And I said to the dispatcher at the police department, I said, let me see if I can explain this to you again. I'm on, and I finally figured out how to get the address of where I was. And I says, I'm off the road, down a ravine, probably about 20 feet, maybe, most likely more. Can you please send a sheriff? And can you please send a tow truck? We need a tow truck to stabilize the vehicle because we don't know how far the vehicle is off the road. I'm only guessing. We're, at Rob Roy Road or whatever the name of this road is. I figured that out by going through my phone and hitting Google search. I finally figured it out because I'm still crossed between panic and trying to keep the person I'm with calm, and me trying to stay calm so I don't go completely off the deep end. So the dispatcher from the Stellantis thing, the SOS button, is now talking between me and the police dispatcher. She's repeating everything that the dispatcher, so she's doing nothing but just repeating what the dispatcher says and repeating what I'm saying, and she's nothing but in the way. So I finally says to her, listen, lady, do me a favor, hang up the phone. Thank you for your help. Of which she did none. And she did that, but not first before asking me if I would fill out a survey of how I thought her service was today. And all of a sudden, and meanwhile, while I'm doing this, I'm flashing my lights and I'm honking my horn, hoping that somebody's going to come up this road because it is on the way to this ORV park, and somebody's going to see it or see the lights flashing. And thank God, somebody that lives in a house up the top of the hill saw me flashing the lights and heard me honking the horn. And they got in their truck. Actually, they didn't even get in their truck. They walked down the hill and they saw me hanging there. And as they saw me hanging there, they said, listen, I see you. I'm going to go up to the top of the hill and I'm going to get my truck and I'm going to get a chain and I'm going to put it on it so that you don't fall any further back down the hill. There's quite a distance between where you are and the end of this hill. All the time I'm thinking, well, also, that this thing can go back end over end and come down on top of me, crushing me or us. So anyway, the woman from the Skagit County Police Department, Skagit County Sheriff's Office, Jody, the dispatcher, she stayed on the phone and she did a wonderful job of keeping me calm. She's the one that really calmed me down. And I was in fear of my life. And finally, I heard the most beautiful sound that I think anybody ever hears when they get in a situation like this that hasn't been killed. And that is the whir of the power takeoff of a tow truck, in this case, a flatbed truck, although I couldn't see that, and the guy pulling his cable out so he can hook it up. The guy came down with his truck and he tried to help, and then all of a sudden I see actually this sheriff's deputy, again, another professional, another person who knew what their job was and knew how to do it. There's Deputy Trevor Grant from the Skagit County Sheriff's Department. And these people were professionals. They knew what to do. I'm sure they've handled this before. I'm sure I'm not the first idiot that ever backed his Jeep off the side of the road and down a ravine. But the difference is they didn't treat me like I was an idiot, and they treated me as if it was an emergency. Because to me, it was an emergency. To me, it was a fearful thing. To me, it was something that had me in panic. I was surprised with the amount of calmness that came over me in this situation, because I knew that I couldn't, if I would have gone crazy, I would have done something stupid. So that is, so finally, the tow driver pulled us out. I think I got a picture of that somewhere. But if I don't, I will. I'm editing stuff up, and I will. I will get it to you, get it up, post it up so I can. Yeah, I don't know why it's not. For some reason, it's not showing the way it should. But anyway, and finally they hooked it up, and the tow driver got us out of there. Thank God for the person who lived in the house at the top of the hill because they came down and calmed us down. And we finally, after an hour of lying on our backs on the side of a mountain, got us out of the situation. The professionalism of the police, the tow truck driver, and the dispatcher was, bar none, spectacular. I like to buy them all lunch. I like to hold a pizza party for them. The people, the person that lived at the top of the hill with their daughter and, the kids in the family and everything, they came down to see what was going on. They were extremely helpful in getting a situation and calming me down. The woman from Stellantis, who was on the other side of the SOS button, epic fail. What the hell do you get? Why is there even an SOS button in the car? She helped not one bit. She read what was on a card, and that was it. I don't know if she was in this country, if she was in another country. I don't know. And I don't care. But I do care that we look at this and look at what we are getting behind that SOS button in our car. I mean, I knew a bit about how this all worked. I'd never been in an accident like this before, and it wasn't even really an accident. I hate to call it an accident because it wasn't an accident. It was just overbacked. But I'll tell you, I was scared. By the way, the Jeep got a couple of dents in the quarter panel. And I was able to drive it home. I was able to bring it from, off the road and get it to and get it to the to where it was supposed to go, back home. No damage, which is exactly what you want out of a vehicle that you drive, that you buy like that. The Jeep Renegade performed exceptionally well. As a matter of fact, it even helped get out of when they hooked it up and it was stable. It drove itself up out of the ravine with the help of the tow truck. So that was how I spent my Sunday afternoon at the ORV park. I'm so thankful for the folks at the sheriff's department. So thankful for the people that helped me. And if I go over the side of a mountain, boy, I tell you, I'm glad I went over the side of a mountain in a Jeep. I can't say a whole lot for the person on the other end of the SOS button, but everybody else that built that Jeep put together a hell of a vehicle. And it truly was two things. It was, first of all, it was a vehicle that did its job. It did what it was supposed to do. It was built strong enough that it did exactly what it was supposed to do. And I think I got this. I think I got this little piece of this thing going backwards. I hope I can. I don't even know the sense of even showing it. But anyway, so everybody's safe. I'm safe. My friend is safe. The police were unbelievable in helping out. Again, I can't say enough for the people up at the top of the house, up at the top of the mountain. It proved to me once again that people care about each other. People will help each other out. People respond to other people when they're in a jam. And certainly on last Sunday afternoon, I was in a jam. And the guy who lived in that house and his daughter and his wife came down from the comfort of their house on a Sunday afternoon, and they were spectacular. These people that live in that house, that's why this country will never fail. As long as we have those kind of people who will not just sit on their butts and watch something, but do something about it, offer to come down and do what they need to do to help somebody out. As long as we have policemen like Trevor Grant and dispatchers like Jody, who made sure that we felt safe, that they were going to stay in contact with us, and they were going to do what they needed to do to make us feel better. As long as we have those people, we're going to do okay. As long as we have people who can read off a card and ask you and have no sense of listening to the person that's on the other end of a SOS call, that's where we'll fail. That's where the trouble is. So thank you for listening to my tale. I know it's a bit long. I've gone on way too long here, but I appreciate you listening. Everybody's okay. And we'll be back with another edition of Drive Time next Saturday morning at 11. By the way, Drive Time is brought to you by my good friend George Jackson. He's another one of those people that live at the house at the top of the hill. And we'll get out of his house in a second to help his friends out, to help people out. George Jackson is a purveyor of business advertising specialties, whether you need a T-shirt for your business, jackets, giveaways, bobbleheads, anything to do with promoting your business. Getting your logo on something, George Jackson, GJ Promo, does it. And he does it, in my opinion, better than anybody else. You can go with these people that are on the internet and maybe you get your stuff a dime cheaper or 15 cents cheaper a unit or something like that. But you don't get the personal service. And believe you me, after last week, you know the difference between good service and somebody who's just reading off a script and making you feel confident that they're doing everything they can to make your life better. That's the secret right there. That they're not a disinterested party, but there's somebody that's interested in you getting what you need to make your situation better. George Jackson can be found at gjpromo.com. You can go to his Facebook page at George Jackson Promo. If you need stuff for your business, please pick up the phone and give George Jackson a call, or send him an email and get a quote on what he can do for your business. 3 things he is: he's honest, he's reliable, and he believes that when you employ him to get you something, that he has an obligation for service. On time, when he said it. If he said he'll get it to you on Thursday, it's going to get there Thursday. Thank you so much for listening to Drive Time this afternoon. We'll catch up with you Monday morning with Michael, if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. You all have a good rest of your Saturday, rest of your weekend, and stay off of I-5. All right? All right, my friend. Thank you. Bye-bye now.